fix it.
When doctors told me that my daughter who's helping me here today is going to need a new heart, I was in shock. And like millions of others, I rushed to Dr. Google hoping to find what could help save my daughter and make sense of this awful situation. But what I found was what everyone else finds. It's overwhelming with a lot of unreliable, outdated, incomprehensible health information. I needed something else to make sense out of the situation. It turns out I'm not alone, and doctors too are overwhelmed by the overwhelming amount of medical advancements, but they're also pulling their hair out with all the crap that patients are bringing in that they learn online. Medivizor solves this by delivering high quality, personally relevant, tailored to each person's specific needs, information directly to the patient. The trick is knowing enough about the patient to give them the specific information using patent-pending technology, medical human expertise curated in a Wikipedia-like manner, and the wisdom of the crowds to sift through vast amount of information and treat each person as an individual unique and deliver only what matters to them. So Medivizor sifts through vast amount of information, thousands of research papers, clinical trials, guidelines, and more, and then delivers it in a language people could understand and act on directly. Okay? When I say high quality, what do I mean? High enough that dozens of doctors, medical institutions, and nonprofit organizations are recommending or prescribing Medivizor to their patients. For example, New York Presbyterian Hospital, number 6 hospital in the US, is powered by Medivizor. This is their main website. High enough that 94% of the thousands of subscribers recommend Medivizor to others. We're already trusted by doctors and patients. We're keeping this invaluable and unique service free to patients by monetizing it through licensing to medical institutions for convenient access of their patients and staff, and making meaningful connections, valuable connections. Clinical trials, for instance. Patients want to learn more about them, and trial organizers pay well to be connected to these patients while not compromising patient privacy. I'm a software developer grown up and have led innovation in large and small companies. My partner, Oren, who I know from elementary school, has been on faculty of Yale and Columbia and has started 5 other health tech companies. Professor Stephen Kaplan is a world-famous urologist, an accomplished researcher with over 800 publications, and an entrepreneur who has started Medidata Solutions valued at over $2 billion. As AARP has often stated, as we age, we grow afflicted with illness. 80% of AARP members suffer from at least one chronic illness. With your help, we can make Medivizor available so that all members of AARP could too have cutting-edge medical information personally relevant to their situation. Every one of us is unique. Shouldn't our health information be? Give them Medivizor. Health information personalized. Thank you.
How do you deal with the fact that doctors are already frustrated with all the documents that patients walk in with? They're just now walking in with slightly better ones.
Not slightly better ones. This is actually the big difference. The initial reaction of doctors is actually, oh no, not more information for my patients, right? But then when they understand that this is clinically relevant references of new cutting-edge information that they can't process, they can't read the 38,000 research papers published each year on diabetes or the 9,362 on prostate cancer each year. So they understand that this is now clinical references, that and if they don't give them this information, they go online and find nonsense. So this is actually vetted information, and which is why, by the way, more than 50% of our subscribers are prescribed Medivizor by their medical institutions now.
Great. Anyone here? Leslie?
Can you better describe how it is that you're curating this information to be specifically to these individuals?
Sure. So we need to understand enough about the individual, and that's usually through their onboarding process. When they sign up, they tell us a lot about themselves, about insightful information about their diseases, their treatment history, their current status, and comorbidities. We could also tap into their medical record. That's on one end. On the other end, we process all new published information, okay, and we figure out what of that is clinically relevant, and that is, again, a combination of technology that sifts through that, plus human expertise at the time when that makes sense. So it's really a combination of technology and humans. Plus, we put in all the digital footprints of everybody that's on our platform already, because they tell us if it's helpful or relevant to them. If it's not, they share it with others. All that is processed. So we basically have an algorithm that uses explicit and implicit personalization to deliver only what matters clinically to the patient. And by the way, we get to 90% accuracy. So 90% of what we deliver to people is accurate and relevant to them.
Can you describe a little bit more about how this scales as you get more and more users of the technology, how you are able to mesh in that human aspect, making sure that the data stays relevant to that specific person?
Sure. So first of all, it's evergreen, updated all the time. So we process thousands of pieces of item every year. Every person contributes and improves the platform. So everybody that's using it is actually giving us feedback all the time by sharing it with their doctor, by marking it as important or marking it as irrelevant. They also comment on it. We have thousands of discussions among patients and doctors on the platform just talking about things related to people like them. So this is evergreen and permanently improving. The more it's used, the better it becomes.
So my question is about your differentiation. You're not alone in this space trying to personalize health information for the benefit of consumers and patients and for physicians. If you could just state.
Sure. So actually, there is no, again, prove me otherwise. We're not familiar where anyone in this audience could go right now and get a personalized report about their health and a cutting-edge update all the time with understandable 10th grade English 300-word summaries for all new content that arrives. Meets them with people just like them, but on an ongoing basis, on a per-item basis. It includes guidelines, warnings, community resources, drug interactions, recent research, all of this. There's no place right now a consumer can go and actually get this. By the way, neither nor the doctor, actually.
So just two-part question to unpack that. What is the output? What am I actually getting as a patient? And then 10th grade English, is that the right level given that the average person in a kind of stressful situation, they're going to have the time to read and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I'm just curious how you're targeting this.
So initially it's 10th grade English right now because that's we believe that in order to understand the pros and cons and the way science works, and there's information to more than one side of the argument. This is not prescriptive as opposed to what you get from a provider. This is often, it's descriptive, so it's about you, but it also gives you multiple sides of the argument or the like different treatment options. So therefore, we actually go to 10th grade, and 90% of the adult population actually understands 10th grade English. The NIH guidelines for 7th or 6th go to 98%, but it does. We stop at 90% population coverage.
Is that accurate for across multicultural? Can you serve multicultural populations?
Yeah. So that's
Spanish.
our research shows that 90% could get there. Now, again, we will expand
meant,
it. We will
are
eventually
you
expand to
serving-
Spanish. No, we don't serve Spanish right now, but we will eventually expand also there. That's one thing. What do they get? They get these summaries of updates whenever there's new information. But it begins with the personalized report of the state of the art of science and where it's going. Actually,
Is that a web page? Is it an app? Is it an email?
so
Is it
it's
file?
a responsive design website that works well on the mobile. You could actually people started at the doctor's office when they check in automatically right now at over 50 clinics around the country. It's actually going to be over 100 clinics and by the end of this year.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.